Nathan, in the world of housing associations, we would normally have two systems. So you have your housing system and you have your finance system. As a professional who's very experienced, what's your experience of using both, and how well do you think they work for the industry?
So for me, the biggest thing housing association finance professionals could do is the accessibility and the speed and the ease of getting into finance systems. That would be for me. That'd be the one thing I would like to see us do better, is to make data finance, the whole thing should be something about that kind of data, the value add, but also that's largely through ease of access and simplicity of use.
Can I just bring that back to one of the points we discussed earlier about integrations? Is what I have seen with a lot of sort of older finance systems is people recognize this issue in terms of making it as simple as possible for non-finance users. But instead of going for a finance system that incorporates all of these things in one place, they go out and they buy a bolt-on system that they'll use maybe 10 to 15% of its functionality, but they want it specifically to address that non-finance user experience. Whereas with modern finance system, you get a lot of these things within the system.
What do you think are the benefits of a modern finance system?
We also can look at modern finance systems tend to put more emphasis on automation, looking at your repetitive tasks, finding ways that you can speed up the processing or improve the quality of the data entry up front.
Think about asking people to put good narrative in, and I think it's, well, if you've got good OCR running in the background, actually, like you say, all the source documentation is there. And I think it was interesting to pick up Mike's point around for anyone who's involved in repairs diagnostics, when you get a repair call come in, we don't ask people in our call center to be expert plumbers, expert electricians, and we don't. You just need to ring up, what's the problem? Leaky tap. You type in leaky tap and it will then spit out into the back office. I need a plumber with a certain set of qualifications. I know what type of washers, I know where they're going to, and I send that person with the right kit to go and do it. Why is finance coding never that simple?
What I've seen when I was working at a housing association was a lot of management accountants, business partners working incredibly late and incredibly hard over the month-end period, and really having to push to meet deadlines. And okay, ultimate goal, you want to be doing value-added activities. Short-term goal that you will almost certainly achieve through a modern finance system is to reduce that month-end time, is to reduce how many late nights you need to do to get the numbers where you want them to be to have a meeting with a budget holder. And then suddenly, instead of it's the last 2 weeks of the month, you need to have a budget holder meeting, and actually you're pinning it right down because you want it as quickly as possible because the data is already 2 weeks out of date. You suddenly open up a lot more time.
Could you quickly go through the concerns that were highlighted in the poll?
Integrations and how well they work are incredibly important, and they facilitate live data. They make sure you don't get duplication of entry. I think a traditional approach to system selection would be to sort of get one big system that did everything. But the downside of that is that would often mean that compromises had to be made in certain areas. Not all departments got exactly what they wanted. A more modern approach to system selection is to take a sort of a best in breed approach to selecting systems. So you pick the systems that are best for doing the job in each scenario, and then you put them together. And in this sort of new world, any sort of software vendor worth its salt needs to be incredibly good at integrating.
If a housing association is looking for a modern finance system, could you quickly tell us what should they be looking for?
I would look for two crowds. It's cheaper, it's future-proof because it's constantly updated, it's inherently easier to support because there's one version, and I'd look for a piece of software which is configured and not customized, much faster implementation times, and quicker speed to value.